Madagascar is roughly the size of Texas. It's the world's fourth largest island and has been isolated from the African mainland for over 160 million years. It's like no other place on Earth, home to more than 250,000 different species of animal, 70% of which are found nowhere else on the globe. It was 65 million years ago when ancient animals accidentally drifted to the island's shores. Amongst these voyagers were early primates. These animals evolved into monkeys elsewhere in the world, but those isolated on Madagascar took a different route. Faced with very few natural predators, they diversified into more than 100 different types of lemur and spread into the island's many terrains. From dense rainforest to dry, rocky slopes, and from desert scrub to rich coastal regions. Madagascar is one of the world's greatest ecological treasures. 99% of its frog species are unique to the island's rainforests. Half of the world's chameleon species are found only in its jungles and rocks. Some of the world's biggest bugs crawl all over the island's terrains. And 80% of Madagascar's trees and plants are totally unique, all driven to the wildest of adaptations by the island's extreme locations. These tree frogs are found nowhere else on Earth. Their skin becomes toxic from eating ants, and they are similar to South America's poison arrow frogs. Hidden on this tree trunk is a master of disguise, the leaf-tailed gecko. It can change its color to match any tree. Its body is fringed with frayed skin that melts its outline into the background, and its flattened feet and tail make it almost invisible. This armor-clad thorn spider is also unique to Madagascar. As is the world's largest cockroach. At over 7 centimeters long, this hissing cockroach is the only insect in existence able to force gas through breathing pores in its abdomen, which it does to surprise and scare potential predators. The bizarre giraffe weevil is another Madagascan speciality. And it's plain to see where it gets its name. In this dry corner of the island, nights can be bitterly cold, with temperatures dropping to near freezing. So ringtails start their day with a spot of sunbathing. Lemurs have low metabolic rates to help them conserve energy when food and water are scarce. So they soak up the sun to help them power up. Sitting bolt upright, they angle their white bellies towards the sun's first rays. Once they've warmed up, it's time to start foraging. The trees here are generally thorny and not very nutritious, so these lemurs need to have a varied diet. A cast iron stomach helps break down the fibrous and sometimes toxic plant tissues. Ring-tailed lemurs are extremely sociable, living in groups of up to 30 family members. It's the females who roost, use a range of calls to keep the troop in check. But if these fail, they simply bully the males. Ringtails rely strongly on their sense of smell to locate food and find their way around. They mark their territory by rubbing genital scent glands on trees. The males also spur mark by scratching spurs on their wrist glands against the bark. These scratches and smells signpost this group's home territory. And if a stranger is found trespassing, a face-off will usually follow. When territorial lines are breached, the result can be messy, with a stink fight breaking out. Territorial males make their tails as smelly as possible by rubbing them against their scent glands. They then arch them over their bodies and waft the powerful odor at their opponent. The intruding male either stinks back or flees. Territories are vital because they protect the fruit trees that provide the family's nutritional needs. Ringtails spend most of their day traveling through their range in search of food. And this territory is one of the island's strangest environments.